The thin ones. The impervious. They're watching. I would never be safe from them. They were there. They were always there. The wrapped, the dead, the undead, whatever the fuck they were. They'd been there for as long as I could possibly remember. Before I get into detail about what I'm about to explain, I suppose I should tell you my name. But I unfortunately cannot tell anyone my real name. The impervious will know. You might call me Laura. From the very beginning, the impervious had kept a close watch on me with their empty eyes. Or eye sockets. My apologies on jumping a bit ahead of myself. The impervious are honestly the most absolutely terrifying thing I have ever come across in my entire life. They are tall, very tall. Their height is so unbelievably inhuman, but they are always hunched over so that they appear to be about 4 or 5 feet, vertically speaking. The impervious are very, very thin and bony, with bones nearly protruding from their flesh. They also have white, rough, and sometimes scaly skin. It's very dull and devoid of life. Their arms are elongated and nearly all bone, along with their legs, but their arms are much greater in their length. They have lengthy nails as well, or claws, whichever would be a more appropriate term. One claw is always larger and more menacing than the rest that they own. There is no hair whatsoever upon their bodies, other than the top of their head. Not even any facial hair. Normally the hair on the top of the head of an impervious is very long, messy, and usually straight for the most part. They have long, black, deadly quills laced in the network of their backbone, threatening and possibly their most lethal weapon, other than their claws and their teeth. Oh God, their teeth. Their teeth just might be the main reason for my internal struggles and madness. I can't count how many nightmares I've had from just their teeth alone. My heart is pounding as I'm writing this, and goosebumps are beginning to rise. But I must go on. The world must know about these hellish creatures that manage to inhabit our earth. Their teeth, they take up most of their face. They are sharp and usually bloody. A sick, terrifying grin is what makes up most of the head of an impervious, along with a large and thin snake-like ebony tongue. Their lips are black, their eyes sunken in and almost showing bone. Their eyes do not exist. A light, a glowing soft blue light takes up where their eyes should be, inside the sockets. The most disturbing thing about them, perhaps, is their legs. The legs of an impervious are reversed, and their feet are arched up, like a canine or a feline's, with sharp toenails. They smell of death. In the beginning, the impervious weren't always in existence. They first originated due to multiple experiments in witchcraft. A young man that had been raised by his Uncle Michael most of his life recently did numerous amounts of countless and endless research, but the main research had been passed down for a few generations onto him. The man's name I can tell you, but only his first name. He calls himself Darius. He discovered what makes the impervious tick, and almost pinned down exactly what they truly are and how they were fully created. What a fool. They were not created by science. They were mostly created using necromancy. What kind of science could possibly create a hellish monster like an impervious? It is impossible. Perhaps a scientist, or maybe even multiple scientists, could perform multiple procedures and experiments on a human being or another animal to make them appear to be like one. But there's just no way that one could possibly fully resemble and have the personality and abilities of a true impervious. First off, the impervious do not have any genitals, nor do they have nipples or belly buttons. They have no creases or imperfections on their body, other than the bone sticking out. They cannot reproduce by normal scientific and humanistic animalistic ways. They cannot have sexual intercourse with sex organs of their own, for they have none. Whether or not they have sexual desires is a complete mystery, since they do not speak. They make noises, but they do not speak as humans, and some other animals do. The amount of Impervious out there are immeasurable. They cannot breed as humans do, but they can spread their likeness around a lot faster and more efficiently. But they usually do not do so. I personally think that the main reason Darius's family and others believe that they were a production of science, since they spread their likeness and curse upon others throughout biting, but because they simply had no other explanation. It isn't just a bite, though. They bite them, then tear their bodies apart in a literal sense, devouring their whole continuance. What's left of the original human's body is nothing like it was before. They are now chunks, broken, with bones and meat the only thing left of them. After a great long while, the dark necromancy and magic that had originally created the Impervious begins its work. The leftover remains of the person's body molds themselves into a white shell of a being, and morphs itself into a true Impervious. With their abilities and looks and all, they are not alive. They are a corpse. They are dead. This is why this cannot be a product of science. Sure, people have been revived before from technically dying, but the revival was done in a completely logical and scientifically proven sense. The curse of the Impervious, the Thin Ones, is not scientific. It can only be explained through magic. If you do not believe that necromancy and any other form of magic is real, I pity you. I pity the day that you come across the Impervious yourself. They do not always kill you. They do not always even bite. Most of the times that an Impervious will come out of its hiding is at night. Usually around midnight. They like to lurk in the shadows, usually in the woods. They often enjoy creeping into somebody's home. They have many supernatural abilities, so this is quite an easy task. Impervious are capable of materializing into an actual shadow, and literally becoming one and nothing else. One way to tell if an Impervious is near you or wishing to toy with you is if you manage to see your shadow, and it is much taller than what it usually is. There are multiple things that can warn you if one of them wishes to come out and play with you. Other than the shadow manipulation, you will become sick, even if not becoming seriously ill. Some of your technology may act up, such as your internet Wi-Fi or your cell phone, or even a video game. Hallucinations, when they are near or have chosen you, are quite common. If you have any of the above symptoms, or a few of them, and your nose begins to bleed, I can only say, I told you so. If you do not heed my warnings and think that this is merely a joke. So, how would someone protect themselves from an Impervious? Honestly, if one has chosen you, there is no way of getting out of it. You are eternally damned if one has chosen you as their own and claimed you. The only possible way of avoiding the Impervious is to guard yourself before they begin to follow you. If you're lucky and they have only recently become interested in you, you may protect yourself. The truth about the Impervious is that they are humans that have become demonic beings through necromancy and black magic. Most things that would guard you from a true rebellious and angry demon would protect you from an Impervious. I would say that a ring of salt will protect you. That would be an absolute lie. I have tried this once before. I fully managed to gain complete protection from them. And it laughed in its sadistic way. It still sends chills down my spine just remembering and thinking about it. But one true way to protect yourself from one, so that you won't become one and or lose yourself forever, is to... At this point, the writer of this passage has stopped. No one knows why they did so, or what happened. Whoever reads this, including myself, may think that it's just a joke or a hoax, but it truly is not. I have seen one before, and drew a sketch of Impervious They are real. You must protect yourself. I don't know how to, but I will try to figure it out and tell as many people online and in real life as I possibly can. I'm only posting this on here because I know a lot of people get into this site and like to read stories like these, but I promise you this is real. One has been following me. Help me. What you're about to read is a note from Dexter Moloch. I had found the first original document of Laura herself. Her true name is Alice. That much I am able to discover. And the second person to have written, it is anonymous and unknown to me. I don't know how this document, joined together, managed to appear on my laptop, but it did. One night while I was in the middle of playing a PC game, I saw the word symbol on my taskbar blinking. I clicked on it, and it had the above text. Before my note, before this document, I decided to do some research, but found little to none of the legendary Impervious creatures. Eventually, I managed to come across one of them on my own. The description that Alice, Laura, had given was exact other than its hair. It had long, straight black hair that looked pristine and in place. I'm assuming that Impervious can have varying hairstyles, just like humans can. I am merely guessing that this is because they were originally human. When I got to the beginning symptoms of an Impervious being nearby, I panicked. My shadows became larger, even during the day. I got a brief cold and my technology began acting up. I've experienced other symptoms also. I began getting bitten by bugs more often. I began seeing more and more spiders around my home and even in my own bedroom. My fingers would get tingly and my nails would ache along with my teeth. I began biting my nails to quell them. I began hearing light, soft whispers nearly everywhere I went that no one else had heard. I didn't hear them in my head, but out loud and in the open. Chills would often shiver down my spine and the hair would rise on the back of my neck. I would get goose pimples upon my flesh as well. I didn't expect all the above symptoms to happen to everyone, or to have happened to anyone that has experienced an encounter with an Impervious. But I know for a fact I am not the only one that this has happened to. The Impervious that I'd seen and experienced myself, firsthand, had told me, it talks to me. I've actually seen it. My God, I can't believe that they're real. It didn't tell me its name, but I'm still terrified. I keep hearing whispers about someone named Morpheus. I think that may be the name belonging to the Impervious. I've only seen it in my dreams though, but I always feel as though someone's watching me. It's August 10th, shortly after midnight as I'm posting this. My nose feels wet, and I feel something trickling down my nasal cavities. It's blood. I have been chosen. Finally, a longer creepypasta. I hope you ghouls liked it. I thought it was really cool. I like, the imagery it gives you. It gives you a lot of good imagery. And I like, you ghouls know I like to sort of like act and get into my creepypastas. So I really like the ones that are in like a perspective that, I get excited about. And this monster trying to kill this poor lady got me into the mood and got me interested in it. So I read it, narrated it, and I liked it. It does kind of remind me of The Rake or like a Wendigo. But I mean, come on, it's still scary. I would not want one of them chasing me. No, thank you. Secret word of the day, zebra. It's going to be zebra. Because if you follow me on Snapchat, you know damn well that I bought myself some sheets. And on them sheets, there's zebras all over them. So the secret word's going to be zebra. So that'll be fun seeing how you ghouls incorporate that into a comment. Because I am always very pleasantly surprised with your creativity. Because you ghouls are way more creative than I am. I'm going to tell you that right now. But as always, my last video will be on the top left. The next video will be on the bottom left. All my social medias are on the screen as well as in the description box below. And remember, there's always someone or something watching you.